Binge or skip, is Alien Earth on Hulu worth your time? So let's get brutally honest right out of the gate. Every single week, we're told that some new streaming series is the next big thing. Most of the time, it's just recycled fluff, right? But then along comes Alien Earth, and suddenly everyone is whispering, is this the first truly great sci-fi of 2025? Or is this just another overhyped franchise cash grab? And I've got to admit I was skeptical. I mean, how many times has Hollywood promised us the return of Alien and then left us with disappointment and a headache? Don't even get me started on Prometheus. But when I pressed play on Alien Earth, I wasn't just watching another sci-fi show. No, I felt like I'd been dropped into a secret vault of forbidden knowledge about the alien universe that we were never supposed to see. But here's the real question. Should you binge it or skip it? Because I promise you, the answer isn't as simple as it looks. Let me paint this scene for you. Alien Earth comes from Noah Hawley, the mastermind behind Fargo and Legion. If you've seen those shows, you already know the guy doesn't do anything halfway. He builds universes that are mysterious, layered, and sometimes even a little maddening. And with Alien Earth, he's dropped us in the year 2120, just 2 years before the events of Ridley Scott's legendary 1979 Alien. Already, that timeline alone had me hooked. Because think about it, the closer you get to the original Alien, the more dangerous the storytelling becomes. Every tiny detail either makes the franchise more powerful or risks destroying the legacy. Now, critics are calling this one of the best shows of the year, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's insane for a franchise spin-off, right? But then you dig a little deeper and the audience score, just 70%. Which tells me something strange is happening here. Critics are screaming, masterpiece, while real fans are grumbling under their breath. And if you're like me, that tension makes you lean in even more. Who's lying to us? But before I start digging into the blood-soaked secrets, let's talk bingeability. Because here's the painful truth, Alien Earth is not a light snack kind of show. It's 8 episodes, and yes, the gore is real. The kind of body horror that makes you glance at your microwave popcorn and suddenly lose your appetite. Do you power through it? Or do you take breaks just to breathe? Honestly, I had to step away more than once. And if you've seen it too, you know exactly what I mean. Here's where I'll stop and ask you. Would you binge this straight through in a weekend? Or do you think you'd tap out halfway through episode 2? Drop your answer in the comments, because I have to know how many of you are the hardcore. Watch it all in one night. Types. First up, the performances. Sydney Chandler, absolutely magnetic. Alex Lawther, creepy in the best possible way. Timothy Olyphant. Honestly, he could read a phone book and I'd still be locked in. And here's a secret. Half the reason Alien Earth works at all is because these actors sell every single moment like their lives depend on it. Which, in this world, they literally do. And then there's the writing. Look, sci-fi horror is tricky. You can either end up with a gore fest that has no soul, or you can disappear into pseudo-philosophy that forgets to scare you. But somehow Hawley balances both. Earth isn't just creature jump scares. It's asking you those big forbidden questions. What does it mean to be human? What happens when we play God with creation? And the scariest one, what if the real monsters aren't the xenomorphs at all but us? But here's where things get messy. The cons. And I'm gonna be blunt, if you hate body horror, this is not the show for you. This isn't like Stranger Things where the monsters are spooky but digestible. Alien Earth wants to crawl under your skin and stay there. Some of those images, they stick. And not in a good, remember that epic scene way, but in a, why did my brain just take a screenshot of that nightmare kind of way. And let's talk about that audience score again, 70%. That's not a fluke, that's a signal. A chunk of fans are not buying into this vision of the alien universe. They don't like the new canon being stitched onto a franchise that was already loaded with contradictions. And honestly, I get it. There are episodes where you feel like the brilliance is slipping, like the finale couldn't quite stick the landing. So here's my painful confession. I loved most of Alien Earth, but by episode 8, I was sitting there wondering if I'd been tricked. Like, had I just wasted 8 hours on something that would never quite deliver the ending it promised? And this is why you need to stay locked in with me, because I'm about to reveal the hidden reason why this series divides fans so sharply. But before I spill that secret, hit that subscribe button right now, because every week I'm breaking down the shows nobody else dares to touch, and I promise, you're gonna want to be here when we uncover the next forbidden truth. The real reason Alien Earth is so controversial isn't just the gore, and it isn't just the finale, it's because it dares to do something most prequels are too scared to do. It rewrites the emotional DNA of Alien itself. That's right, it's not just adding details, it's reprogramming how you feel about the original movie. Think about that. You sit down to rewatch Ridley Scott's Alien, and suddenly, you're not just thinking about Ripley and the Nostromo. You're haunted by the lab on the tropical island. You're haunted by the humans who played God. You're haunted by secrets you weren't supposed to know, and that's why some fans are resisting. It makes the original story even heavier, maybe even darker than it was before. And honestly, that forbidden knowledge is what makes me say you kind of have to binge it. Because even if you hate parts of it, the experience of having your perspective on Alien rewritten forever is worth the discomfort. Here's the thing about Alien Earth, it's not just a sci-fi horror show, it's a test. A test of how much you can handle, how much you're willing to think, and how far you'll go down a rabbit hole you can't unsee once you've started. And honestly, that's what makes it different from so many so-called event series that fade after 2 weeks. But let's get brutally clear. If you're watching this video trying to decide whether to hit play or skip it, here are the forbidden truths nobody else will tell you. First, the world building. This show isn't confined to one claustrophobic spaceship, it expands. It takes you from outer space to a secret lab hidden on a tropical island. And every location feels like it's drenched in paranoia. But here's the secret twist: the more beautiful the setting looks, the more horrifying the events become. It's almost like Hawley is trolling us. Oh, you thought paradise was safe? Think again. Second, the binge factor. Let's be honest, some of you are marathoners. You'll knock out 8 episodes in a weekend, no problem. Others, you'll need to take breathers, because the gore is relentless. And here's where I'll turn it to you. Be honest in the comments. Are you the kind of viewer who pauses horror scenes and peeks through your fingers, or do you lean in closer, popcorn flying everywhere? Because I'll admit it, I'm a finger peeker. Half of episode 7, I watched like a kid sneaking a horror movie from behind the couch. Third, the ending. We need to talk about this. Because if you've been burned by weak finales before, you know how crushing it feels to invest hours only to get a payoff. And while Alien Earth doesn't completely fumble the ball, it definitely doesn't spike it in the end zone either. Some fans will walk away satisfied. Others will feel robbed. It's divisive, and that's exactly why it's worth debating. Now, let's stir the pot a little. Imagine this hypothetical: what if Alien Earth had flopped completely? What if critics gave it 40%, fans walked away, and Hulu quietly buried it under the algorithm rug? The Alien franchise would have been dead, like permanently. No more sequels, no more spin-offs, no more chances. And instead what we got was a show bold enough to reignite conversation, even if it came with controversy. So when people ask me, Sophia, should I binge it or skip it? I throw it back to them with a harder question. Do you want your sci-fi to comfort you, or do you want it to challenge you? Because if you just want safe, predictable monster fights, maybe this isn't your show. But if you want to wrestle with morality, identity, and humanity itself while also trying not to scream out loud, this is exactly the kind of ride you sign up for. And let me loop back to something I said earlier. This show rewrites how you see the original Alien. That's not just a little Easter egg. That's a seismic shift. Imagine rewatching Ripley's story and carrying all the new weight Alien Earth added. Every decision, every scream, every flash of terror. It all lands harder. That's forbidden knowledge. And once you have it, you can't erase it. But here's where I want your take. Do you think prequels should be allowed to change how we feel about the originals? Or should they leave them untouched? Drop your opinion below, because this is the debate that will decide whether Alien Earth goes down as a masterpiece or a misstep. Quick callback. Remember when we broke down Dexter: Resurrection last month and talked about how the finale can either immortalize a series or bury it alive? The same principle applies here. Hawley took a gamble. For some, it'll be brilliance. For others, it'll be betrayal. But either way, it's unforgettable. And you know what? That's rare. So many shows fade the second the credits roll. Alien Earth lingers. It crawls into your head like a xenomorph egg and waits. Maybe it hatches, maybe it doesn't. But the fact that it even has that power means it's not your average binge. Now, if I had to hand out a final verdict, binge or skip, I'm giving it the green light. Binge it, not because it's perfect, not because it won't frustrate you, but because great television isn't about perfection. It's about sparking conversation, pulling you into its grip, and daring you to keep watching even when you want to look away. If you can stomach the gore, you're in for one of the boldest, most thought-provoking sci-fi rides of the decade. And if you can't, hey, no shame, just skip it, keep your nightmares clean, and maybe rewatch Legion instead. So here's my final call to action for you. If you've already binged Alien Earth, drop your wildest theory in the comments. Do you think Season 2 will finally connect directly into Ridley Scott's Alien? Or will Hawley keep building sideways into forbidden corners of this universe we've never even dreamed of? And if you haven't watched yet, what's stopping you? Is it the gore, the fear it'll ruin the franchise for you? Or are you just waiting for the internet to decide for you? And hey, don't just lurk. Join the conversation. That's what we do here at Breakdown Epic. We don't just watch, we dissect, debate, and drag the truth into the light, no matter how ugly it is. Alright, I'm Sophia, this is Breakdown Epic, and my final piece of advice. Don't watch Alien Earth alone. Trust me on that one. Unless, of course, you like sleeping with the lights on. See you in the next breakdown.